All right, what's going on, guys? Happy Tuesday to you. We got ourselves a nice little slate of Major League Baseball action, so let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to begin with the Yankees taking on the Tigers, 6:40 Eastern first pitch in Detroit. Now, this game's currently off the board. We're still waiting for an official starter from the Yankees organization. So if we get a projected starter there, let me know in the comment section below who it's going to be. Now, it looks like we're going to have Edwin Jackson here for the Tigers. He comes into this game just 3-9 on the year, 9.16 ERA. Detroit's the worst team in Major League Baseball. I'm sure the Yankees will open this one up as the heavy favorite, regardless of who they throw out. So with all that in mind, I'm going to lean New York Yankees -1.5, getting the job done on the run line. All right, next game, we have the Braves taking on the Phillies, 7:05 Eastern first pitch at Citizens Bank Park in South Philly. The Braves are -170, totals 9.5. 69% of the consensus is leaning toward Atlanta, 61% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Phillies are +155 on the money line. The Braves are catching even money on the run line. We have Max Fried for the Braves, Jason Vargas for the Phils. Vargas is just 6-7 on the year, 4.27 ERA. Meanwhile, Fried on the other side, he's been outstanding. He's 16-4 on the year, 3.86 ERA, 159 strikeouts. The Braves are in first place in the NL East. They're also very good on the road. They're 43-27 when traveling. They rank 7th in scoring on average per game. They've also won 10 out of their last 11 ball games. Now, the Phillies on the other side, they rank 18th in offensive strikeouts. They're also 23rd in hits allowed. When it comes to the total, the Phillies are 80% to the over in their last 5, taking on the Braves. Pretty heavy price point here. Don't want to lay the 1.5. I am going to lean Atlanta Braves -170 in the over 9.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Dodgers-Orioles, 7:05 Baltimore. The Dodgers are -320, totals at 10. Not a whole lot of movement on the total. We did see a 10-cent move toward the Dodgers. They opened 310 up to 320. Once again, totals at 10. 87% leaning toward the Dodgers, 69% shaded toward the over. Right now, the O's are +290 on the money line. Dodgers -190, laying the 1.5. We have Walker Buehler for the Dodgers, Ty Blach for the O's. Blach's just 1-2 with a 10.95 ERA. Buehler on the other side, 12-3 on the year, 3.28 ERA, 190 strikeouts. Baltimore's last in runs allowed on average per game. They're also 29th in striking batters out, which is second to last in Major League Baseball. The Dodgers on the other side, they're actually second in offensive walks, first in runs allowed. I'm going to lean Dodgers -1.5 and the under 10 runs in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just going to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Tuesday's Major League Baseball action. Happy Tuesday. Getting the week off started pretty good here. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take a quick timeout and remind you to check me out on my website, patreon.com/BrockPage. We do daily plays on that site, and memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. There's also plenty of free content there as well. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive right back into our slate of games. All starts Eastern Standard Time, and on deck we've got the Red Sox taking on the Blue Jays, 7:07 Toronto. This game's currently off the board as well. We have Nathan Eovaldi for the Red Sox, TJ Zook for the Blue Jays. Boston's third in scoring, first in hits. Toronto on the other side, just 55-89 overall for the year. They've also won just 27 out of 69 at home. They've dropped 9 out of their last 10 straight. I'm going to lean Boston winning that one outright for some money line cash. Next matchup, Milwaukee taking on the Marlins, 7:10 Miami. The Brewers are -180, totals 8.5. We saw a 10-cent fade of Milwaukee and movement downward on the total. The Brewers open 190, down to 180. Total open 9, down to 8.5. 73% are leaning Brewers, 81% shaded toward the over. Right now, the Marlins are +165 on the money line. The Brewers -1.05 on the run line. We have Chase Anderson for Milwaukee, Eliezer Hernandez for the Marlins. Hernandez is 3-5 with a 5.23 ERA. Anderson on the other side, 6-4 on the year, 110 strikeouts. The Marlins have the most losses in the National League. They're also just 51-92 overall for the year, 41 games under 500. They've also won just 29 Out of 75 at home, they rank 29th in scoring on average per game, which is second to last in Major League Baseball. They're also dead last in walks allowed. Now, total-wise, the Marlins are 6-1 to the over in their last, Milwaukee's 6-1 to the over in their last 7 in Miami. I'm going to lean Brewers minus $1.80 and the over 8.5 runs in that game. Next matchup, Diamondbacks, Mets, 7-10, Flushing, Queens. The Mets are minus $1.25, totals at 8. We saw a nickel fade of New York. They open $1.30 down to 125, totals at 8. 55% are leaning Mets, 51% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Diamondbacks are plus 115 on the money line. We have Zach Gallen for the D-backs, Zach Wheeler for the Mets. The Diamondbacks are 6th in road scoring, 7th in road hits. The Mets have dropped 8 out of their last 10 in Flushing, Queens. Total-wise, the Mets are 5-2 to the over in their last 7. Atlanta 40-35 to the over Arizona 40-35 to the over away from home. I'm going to lean Diamondbacks plus $1.15 in the over 8 runs in that game. Next matchup, Nationals Twins, 740 Minnesota. The Twins are 138, totals 10.5. We saw a 2-cent fade of Minnesota and movement upward on the total. The Twins open $1.40 down to 138. Total open 10 up to 10.5. 65% are leaning Twins, 51% shaded toward the over. Right now the Nats are plus 126 on the money line. The Twins plus $1.35, laying the run and a half. We have Sanchez for the Nats, Barrios for the Twins. Barrios is 11-8 on the year, 3.78 ERA. The Twins are first in scoring, second in hits. And total-wise, Minnesota's 7-0 to the under, believe it or not, in their last 7. The Nats are 5-1 to the under in their last 6, taking on an American League opponent. I'm going to lean Twins minus 138 and the under 10.5 in that game. Next matchup, Rays, Rangers, 805 Texas. The Rays are 132, totals at 10. We saw an 8-cent move toward Tampa Bay and movement upward on the total. The Rays open $1.24 up to 132. Total open 9 up to 10. 56% are leaning Rays, 51% shaded toward the under. Right now the Rangers are plus 123 on the money line. The Rays plus $1.20, laying the run and a half. We have Ryan Yarbrough for the Rays, Lance Lynn for the Rangers. Yarbrough's 11-3 with a 3.49 ERA. The Rays are pretty good on the road this year, 43-27 when traveling, second in road strikeouts. Meanwhile, the Rangers on the other side, they are 29th in offensive strikeouts per game, second to last in Major League Baseball. They're also just 34-35 against the spread at home. And of course, when I refer to the spread in Major League Baseball, I'm referring to the run line. So with all that said and done, I'm going to lean Rays minus 132 and the over 10 runs in that game. Next matchup, A's, Astros, 8-10 Houston. The Astros are minus 155, totals at 10. Believe it or not, we saw a significant fade of Houston in the early wagering. We also saw movement downward on the total. Houston opened $1.72 all the way down to 155. Total open 10.5 down to 10 flat. 61% are leaning Houston, 62% shaded toward the over. Right now the A's are plus 145 on the money line. The Astros plus $1.20, laying the run and a half. With Tanner Roark for the A's, Wade Miley for the Stros. Miley's 13-4 with a 3.35 ERA. The Astros are 4th in scoring, 3rd in hits, 1st in strikeouts. They also have scored 36 runs in their last 2 games. Now the Athletics on the other side, they're 18th in hits, 29th in strikeouts on the road. When it comes to the total, Houston is 80% to the over in their last 5. I'm going to lean Astros minus $1.55 and the over 10 runs in that game. Next matchup, Royals, White Sox, 8-10, guaranteed rate field in Chicago. The White Sox are 112, totals at 10. We saw a fade of the White Sox in the early wagering. We also saw movement upward on the total. Chicago open $1.30 down to 112. Total open 9 up to 10. 66% are leaning White Sox, 52% shaded toward the over. Right now the Royals are plus 102 on the money line. White Sox plus $1.65, laying the run and a half. With Jake Junis for the Royals, Ivan Nova for the White Sox. Nova's 9-12 with a 4.69 ERA. The White Sox are just 28-43 against the spread at home. They're also 28th in scoring, 27th in walks allowed. The White Sox have also dropped 5 out of their last 6 at guaranteed rate field. They've dropped 10 out of their last 13 straight up. Now, total-wise, the Royals are 42-29 to the under when traveling. I'm going to lean Kansas City plus 102 and the under 10 runs in that game. Next matchup, Cardinals, Rockies, 840 Colorado. The Cards are 139, totals 13.5. We saw a, looks like a 16-cent fade of the Cardinals in the early wagering. We saw movement downward on the total as well. St. Louis open $1.55 down to 139. Total open 14 down to 13.5. 66% are leaning Cardinals, 53% shaded toward the over. Right now the Rockies are plus 129 on the money line, and at the moment the Cards are plus 105 laying the run and a half. We have Mike Wacha for the Cards, Chichi Gonzalez for the Rockies. Now Wacha comes into this game with a 6-6 record, 4.98 ERA. St. Louis is just 23rd in hits, 20th in road scoring, 23rd in road walks allowed. The Rockies on the other side, first in home scoring, first in home hits. When it comes to the total, the Rockies are 4-1 to the under in their last 5. The Cards are 10-5 to the under in their last 15, taking on an NL West opponent. I'm going to lean Rockies plus 1.5 and the under 13.5. Next game, almost said Steelers. Pirates taking on the Giants, 9:45 San Francisco. The Giants are minus 120, totals 8.5. 63% are leaning Giants, 52% shaded toward the under. Right now the Pirates are plus 110 on the money line. The Giants plus $1.65 laying the run and a half. We have Mitch Keller for the Pirates. We have, Mitch Keller for the Pirates, Johnny Cueto for the Giants. Now, Mitch Keller is just 1-3 with an 8.18 ERA. The Pirates have won just 32 out of 72 away from home. They also rank 26th in runs allowed on average per game, 25th in hits allowed. And when it comes to the number, the Giants are 5-1 to the under in their last 6 taking on the Pirates. I'm going to lean Giants minus $1.20 and the under 8.5 in that game. Next matchup, Indians, Angels, 10:07 Los Angeles. The Indians are 135, totals 9.5, 59% leaning toward Cleveland, 52% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Angels are plus 125 on the money line. Indians plus $1.05, laying the run and a half. We have Zach Plesac for the Indians, Jose Suarez for the Angels. Suarez is just 2-5 with a 6.45 ERA. The Angels are just 32-38 against the spread at home. They've lost 13 out of their last 17 outright. Now the Indians on the other side, 6-0 in their last 6 head-to-head matchups with the Angels, 43-30 against the spread away from home, first in runs allowed when traveling. And when it comes to the total, the Angels are 38-32 to the over at home. I'm going to lean Indians minus 135 and the over 9.5 in that game. Next matchup, Reds, Mariners, 10-10 Seattle. The Reds are 128, totals at 9. We saw a 12-cent fade of Cincinnati and movement downward on the total. The Reds open $1.40 down to 128. Total open 9.5 down to 9 flat. 59% are leaning Reds, 71% shaded toward the over. Right now the Mariners are plus 117 on the money line. The Reds plus $1.25 laying the run and a half. We have Bauer for the Reds, Sheffield for the Mariners. Bauer's just 10-12 with a 4.70 ERA. The Reds are just 1-10 in their last 11 taking on the Mariners. The Reds are also 25th in road scoring, 26th in road hits. The Mariners on the other side, 7th in offensive walks, 8th in walks allowed. When it comes to the numbers, Seattle's 43-26 to the over at home. I'm going to lean Mariners plus 1.5 and the over 9 runs. All right, next and final game for the show. It is going to be Cubs, Padres, 10-10 San Diego. The Cubs are minus 155, totals at 9. We saw a 10-cent move towards Chicago, movement upward on the total. The Cubbies open $1.45 up to 155. Total open 8.5 up to 9. 66% are leaning Cubbies, 59% shaded toward the over. Right now the Padres are plus 145 on the money line. Chicago plus $1.10 on the run line. We have Jose Quintana for the Cubs, Bolanos for the Padres. Quintana comes into this game with a 4.12 ERA. The Cubbies have really struggled on the road this year. Winners in just 30 out of 72 when traveling. They're also 32-40 against the spread in that same category. They're 21st in road hits on average per game, 22nd in road walks allowed. The Padres on the other side, they are 2nd in walks allowed, winners in 2 out of their last 3. Total-wise, the Padres 4-1 to the over in their last 5 taking on the Cubs. I'm going to lean Padres plus 1.5 and the over 9 runs in that game. And we're going to go ahead and slide into our quick recap brought to you by patreon.com/BrockPage. We like the Padres plus 1.5 and the over 9. Seattle plus 1.5 over 9. Cleveland minus 135 over 9.5. We also like the Giants minus $1.20 under 8.5. Colorado plus 1.5 under 13.5. Kansas City plus 102 under 10 runs. Astros minus 155 over 10. Rays minus 132 over 10 runs. Twins minus 138 under 10.5. We also like the Diamondbacks plus $1.15 over 8 runs. Brewers minus 180 over 8.5. Boston winning their game outright for some money line cash. Dodgers minus 1.5 under 10. Braves minus $1.70 over 9.5. And last but certainly not least, we're going to take the Yankees winning that one outright for some run line cash. All right, guys, that is going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. We do daily plays on that site, and our memberships begin at just $1.99 per month. There's also plenty of free content there as well. Patreon.com/BrockPage. But most importantly, I got to thank you for tuning in right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And as always, happy Tuesday. Best of luck to you. And don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage.